All right, everybody, welcome back into Express Mail. I'm Casey,
I'm Kevin.
and we are here to do a little talking about a movie. We had a request for some movie reviews, and Kevin knows more about this movie. I did watch it, thought it was great. I'm actually the one who told him to go watch it, but he has a background in that kind of music more than I do, so it really hit home with him. So go
I'm not
ahead.
a fan of Bob Dylan's music. I mean,
Right.
and that's probably why I wouldn't have watched the movie, probably because I wasn't never a big fan. I didn't realize how much. I knew some stories like when he went and seen Woody Guthrie at the. If you had never seen this movie, it's a good movie to watch.
It's
It's
called The Complete Unknown, and it's new.
yeah,
It's
it's a new
brand
movie.
new out on Fandango. Had to pay $25 to watch it, but it was worth
Better than going to the movie theater.
it. Yeah.
Anyway, I've heard. I mean, I knew just from, and I don't know where I heard it at. I get into music a lot, like the people that write music, that kind of stuff, and I'd heard the story where Bob Dylan went seeing Woody Guthrie in the hospital, and somebody said, and I don't know how true this is because they never said it in the movie, but the way Bob Dylan sings, like a complete unknown. How he
Who's
does
oh
that.
Bob did yeah
Yeah,
yeah.
they said that it was because he was listening to Woody Guthrie, and Woody Guthrie might have sang a song while he was in the hospital with
And
him or
Woody
something.
Guthrie was the one that was in bed.
He was the one in the
In
bed
bed.
died.
Was he at a hospital or old folks home
I
or
don't know
like
what it
a?
was. It looked like a maybe a nursing home kind of thing
Yeah,
or
it could have
something
been.
other.
It could have been.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
So
But
I
anyway,
was as someone who didn't know anything about that past. Guy, it was just amazing to see. And Bob Dylan's like 83 today, and I don't know how many albums he's put out and everything, but just to see how he got his start just blew my mind. I mean, Thin Threads
yeah, I
we talk
thought
about.
I thought when he went and seen Woody Guthrie, he was already. I mean, I just assumed. I mean, because I knew who Bob Dylan was, but I just assumed that he probably already was a.
Was doing it.
Yeah, was already a big guy.
But according to that movie, he hadn't. Had he?
No, he
That
ain't
was
done
that
nothing.
hadn't
Yeah, he
done
just
nothing.
kind of like
Yeah,
he. Woody Guthrie was an idol, so he knew he was there, so he went and seen him.
went and
And
seen him. God, that was amazing. That was a
anyway,
great beginning.
I didn't know.
And
Like, there's a lot of he had a lot of influence on a lot of people. Country
Woody
music singer.
Guthrie,
No, Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan. Okay.
But Woody Guthrie, I guess, did too, as far as if you're into that folk music kind of stuff, which I've never been really into that. But
The only folk I listen to is John Denver. Is that folk?
at one time, he's probably considered folk music.
I love John Denver. I hate that he died.
But anyway, Johnny Cash, I knew Johnny Cash and him had, they knew each other, or whatever. And I found out later on that Merle Haggard, even, which blows my mind,
Well, and
that Haggard, I don't know if he toured with him or played just some dates with him or whatever. I don't know what the deal was there, but and evidently Bob Dylan was a big fan of Merle Haggard because uh, I seen an interview one time where Haggard was talking about the. I guess they were setting up for the show that evening or whatever, and Dylan was down there sound checking, doing whatever, and he'd asked Merle for advice or like suggestions maybe or what he should do and all that. And Merle was kind of blown away by him even asking him, I think. And he's like, man, just sing all them songs you wrote and people want to hear. It's,
because at first they were trying to get him to just do cover songs. Remember that in the beginning?
yeah.
And that's not what he wanted to do. But this guy, when you watch the movie, you'll see that this guy lived his music. I mean, he'd wake up in the middle of the night and go over to his desk, pick up his guitar, and it may be 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. He'll sit there for the next 4 hours, and stuff will be coming to him. And he starts writing it down. I mean, it was just amazing to watch that. But the
And that's
way
what kind of blew him away when he went and seen Woody Guthrie. He wanted him to sing a song or something. He sang that song, and it was one he wrote,
one he wrote.
and it kind of blew them away. Which Woody Guthrie was already, he was big in the folk music world or whatever, so he was big time in it already. And
Well, and Johnny Cash, the way it leads you to believe they met was through Pen Pal. they started writing letters to each other. Remember, that's the first.
Yeah, seemed like something
So
like
if that's true, that was
Johnny
just
Cash was
another.
already big time when because this was
Yes.
like in the early 60s, 60 or 61 when Dylan went to New York. He's from Minnesota, and his name ain't Bob Dylan. Really. Well, it is legally because he had it changed, but it's Robert Allen Zimmerman. Did you know that? That was his
I
real
hung
name?
out with him before he changed his name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Met him at the coffee shop.
I guess Bob Dylan, better stage name than Robert
Way
Zimmerman.
better. Yeah. Yeah. True. But
But
if you, I mean, if you're into music of any kind, I think that would kind of. I'm
it
not
did
into.
me.
I'm not into any of that music. I mean, I like Johnny Cash. I can listen to his song and stuff, but Bob Dylan, I've never just sit down and listen to Bob Dylan stuff. But if you're
You know
into
his songs,
music,
but you
yeah,
just haven't
yeah, and if
heard
you're
them.
into music, just watching that take place and the history of it is just fantastic. I thought it was a great movie. I think the kid, his name's Timothy,
Chalamet.
Timothe, Timothy Chalamet, French American actor. He's won all
He's been
kind of
up for
awards.
Academy
He's
Awards.
29 years old, started at 23, and for this movie, he's up for another Academy Award. And he produced this movie at 29 years old. So the little guy's a genius, and he played Bob Dylan to the T. I mean, that was amazing.
Yeah, Bob Dylan. You know, I mean, everybody knows that
Quirky,
disheveled hair kind of
yes,
look that Bob Dylan always had.
kind of quirky type. But most of those genius writers like him, they're kind of weird like that. You know, I mean,
They're not like us anyway.
No, not quite like
But
us.
I liked it for the just for the musical part of it because, like I say, I'd heard some of the stuff like that before, and knowing the influence that I mean, knowing that people like Haggard and Cash
Hung out
looked
with
at
him.
him like, "Hey, dude, don't you're in a league on your own. We might be in a league on our own in our genre of music or whatever, but you know, they knew he was big
Yeah.
and he had a lot of influence on a lot of people. So
I mean, that
it's
takes
really
me back into the guy who always wore black, died younger
Johnny
age.
Cash.
No, not no. I'm talking about a quirky guy. Uh, he always wore black too. Had big glasses. He died younger though. Very popular in that arena. Oh crap. Anyway, I might think of it a little. You know.
What do you say?
It was almost had it. Go ahead and talk about something. I'll think about it. But anyway, so that guy that reminds me kind of that same type personality where they're kind of weird and awkward, but they're thinking all the time. You know, I mean, they're in a whole nother world. I think.
Well,
Pretty Woman.
oh yeah, he wasn't. Yeah, he died not long ago. That's Roy Orbison.
Roy Orbison was another quirky looking acting, and he didn't fit in with the country and western guys really,
No,
but they'd sing with him too, wouldn't they? I mean,
oh, he had a lot of he played in a band with Tom Petty and a couple other people. They I forget what they called that band, Million Dollar Band, something, whatever it was. I don't know, but anyway, it was a lot of guys. Oh, the Traveling Wilburys.
Oh wow, never.
Anyway, if you ever listen to any rock stations, you probably heard the Traveling Wilburys. That was who it was. It was Tom Petty and Roy Orbison, and I can't remember who. Maybe it might have been might have been George Harrison or somebody like that.
Well, but Roy Orbison kind of reminds me of a quirky, strange. Didn't fit in with most of your regular rock and roll or country bands. He was kind of his own.
Had his own style of music, and
but he could do it.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
The Bob Dylan thing was up to where Bob Dylan was big folk guy in the beginning, and later on.
What did he transition to?
Well, he went to more of a rock. He's still kind of folksy at some of the stuff that he sang, but he wanted to add, and he ticked off the whole folk type people. Yeah, because folk music's usually a guy or a gal just sitting there with a guitar and playing or whatever. That's it, or they're just singing. But he added guitars, and he liked that sound, and he
He loved the whole band.
Yeah, he wanted the band thing going on. So like around late '60s, somewhere maybe right before 1970, he went and he debuted that. That was where he debuted the rock kind of or the instruments or whatever was at that festival. I forget New Haven or whatever it was. Anyway, but yeah, that's how most people would probably know him that listen to Bob Dylan is he's always got guitars and
so what was his transition? What do you know the name? Was it?
I guess
now this I'm way off here, but what does the term rockabilly mean?
Rockabilly's kind of like
hillbilly rock.
Well, like
I mean that is a term, isn't it? Yeah. Rockabilly. I've heard that somewhere.
Yeah, it's kind of like what's his name? Johnny Cash used to be he used to be Johnny Cash's son-in-law.
I don't know.
He played in the band with him. Matter of fact, what's his long-haired dude married to Connie Smith? What's his name? Come on, man. Golly.
Tiny Tim?
No, my gosh, what's that dude's name? Stewart.
Rod?
No.
First name Stewart, last name Stewart?
Last name.
I don't know.
It'll come to me in a little bit, probably.
So anyway,
they kind of have that rockabilly sound where it's almost like country.
Bluegrass.
Some old, maybe throw some little bluegrass in there, kind of, and just it's kind of its own sound. Or whatever. But it's not, it's not like Haggard and Jones,
right,
and all these guys that sing country music. It's kind
of its own lane.
Yeah, it's not far out of the country lane, but it's real thing.
Great movie though. Go see it.
Yeah,
or rent it or whatever you got to do to it. But it was really good. I enjoyed it.
I did too, and didn't think I would, just simply because
you're not a Bob Dylan guy.
I never was really a Bob Dylan fan. But when you learn about somebody, you tend to start thinking, "Wow, man, the dude was really cool."
Yeah.
Maybe you don't like his singing or whatever, but the influences he had on people, that was a lot.
His ability to write music is just crazy.
Yeah,
so phenomenal. So anyway, that was that movie. What else you got, Kevin?
The only other one I got is the one I suggested to you, and you ain't watched it.
Are you talking about the Runaway thing?
Yeah.
Runaway Bride?
Jury. An old movie.
Yeah, with Gene Hackman. And now we found out how that all took place. She died of some rare, funky bacterial infection from like rat turds and stuff. I've seen back in the day. I watched a show where this kid come down with something and they couldn't figure it out, and he inhaled the dust from rat feces and stuff.
In a barn.
Yeah, and when they said that, I'm like, I've heard of that once before, but that's the only time I've ever heard of it. But yeah, she died 2 weeks before he did, or something, or 10 days.
She'd been dead about 2 weeks when they found him. He'd been dead about a week.
So she died about 7 or 8 days before him of that, and then he had advanced Alzheimer's, and so they said the only thing he knew how to do was to drink water and keep himself hydrated, but he didn't know how to feed himself. He was that far along, and so after a while, you don't eat anything, and you're what, 93?
Yeah,
93. You got a pacemaker. You're not getting nutrition. Then he just ended up collapsing.
Goes downhill from there.
Oh wow, what a scenario that is! I'm telling you. Jeez almighty, who would have thought she was 30 years younger than him? Who would have thought she'd have died of something?
She was 63 or 4, so she was 28, 29, 30 years younger.
So anyway, that was really strange. Now you said the kids are gonna argue over something.
I heard this morning I just heard it was like a headline kind of thing to make you listen to it, and I got out of the car, and it was supposedly there's questions about the estate or whatever. So I don't know. I don't know how many kids he had. But.
Speaking of people dying, I don't know if I told you this. I did tell you this. A friend of ours passed away last week. A schoolmate of mine, Lisa. Remember me telling you about that? They found her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So prayers go out to Lisa Boyce's family and everything. But anyway, that was hard to take. Kind of the same situation. They just found her in there, and she had already passed away. But anyway, let's get on to some better news
You
here.
going to vacation this next week?
Yeah, I leave in the morning, bright and early for Colorado for the Rocky Mountains. I can't wait to get up there. We go what every year
Yeah.
at least once.
I've been with you a couple times. So.
So anyway, yeah, we're going up there just to kind of get away and go see my daughter, my grandson, and my great grandson, and hang out with them for a couple of days, and my old roommate from Colorado. So looking forward to that. Got Kemosabe some new shoes. Got him some snowshoes.
He ain't gonna snow.
Huh?
It ain't,
Ain't gonna snow. No, ain't. I spent all that money for nothing. So
Well.
anyway, but yeah, we're ready to go. We're looking forward to it. We're supposed
They'll
to
go
go.
to Cheyenne or at all? Or they
Yeah,
gonna
we're gonna end up Estes Park and then run on up into Cheyenne for a night, and then just come back down through the mountains and just see different sites and stuff like that. I would love for it to become a big snow, but it's not forecasting that. But they did get snow. They're getting snow today.
Really?
Yeah. So we'll get up there tomorrow and it should be fresh snow, but still, I want it to be snowing.
Well, you have to watch going through Amarillo, the Panhandle out there. There's all the trucks are blowing over up there.
Well, I look, and all the wind's going to be gone by 9 o'clock tonight up there.
Is it?
Tomorrow's going to be a beautiful sunny day, high of 55 in Amarillo.
You be sitting in traffic jams waiting on to clear the
Oh,
trucks.
dear God. Let's hope not. Let's hope they work all night to get that out of the way.
I'm sure they will. That ain't gonna be no big deal by the time you get
Yeah,
there.
hope not. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
What
Speaking of vacations, you're taking a week off because you're changing JOBs, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, planning on it anyway.
Yeah. So, well, that's good.
It's a process I ain't used to doing, but it's the way of the world nowadays. So old guys got to figure stuff out. I guess you got to something as simple as email, and then digging in there into that email and fishing out stuff there that you got to. That's just not my forte.
No, it's kind of crazy.
But it's something like I say. That's the way of the world now. So if you want to get with it, you gotta figure it out or get run over with it. Because that's what's happening now.
Well, hey, by the way, the government's not shutting down. Did you hear about that?
I heard about that.
Well,
I heard they were screaming and hollering, wanting to shut it down because they're gonna blame it on Trump and his guys.
Well, if it would have shut down, you know what they do when they shut the government down? They keep the essential workers,
Yeah,
and let the non-essential workers stay at home. But when the shutdown's over with, they repay. They all get back pay.
Yeah.
So what's the point of shutting it down? And number one, if you're non-essential, why do you have a job?
exactly.
If my boss goes, Casey, you're not essential to the company. Do you think he'd keep me on and keep paying me? It's the dumbest stuff I've ever heard in my life.
The back pay thing is what kills me because
yeah, I'll sit at home.
Yeah,
Money's coming.
Let me know
because they ain't going to keep it shut down too long.
But that's what I'm saying. Let's just say the average Social Security guy or woman or whatever. They, that's the first thing they threaten all the old folks. Your Social Security is going to get shut off.
Yeah.
Your whatever's going to get shut off.
Never has.
No mail.
Never has.
Not once. Okay, well, let's just say it did. Do they get back pay?
Now that I don't know. I'm sure they do. Wouldn't they?
I would think so. I mean, it's their money.
They better. If the non-essentials are getting back pay. If the non-essentials are getting anything, everybody better get something.
Yeah.
You're non-essential. Non-essential workers. What the hell is that?
That's
Kevin, you're non-essential.
That seemed like Doge. The Doge might get a hold of them folks. Just stay at home.
I think that's what was going to happen was when they shut it down and all the non-essentials went home, they were just going to get a pink slip all
Exactly.
We don't need you to come back because you're non-essential. That's like the government telling everybody who was essential and who wasn't essential back during COVID. Walmart's essential, but your little corner store is not essential.
Right.
BS. BS. That was the biggest freaking scam.
I was essential, I guess, because I had to keep working.
I did too. I was transporting blood from the doctors to the lab. So I kept on working.
I was transporting flight simulators from Arlington, Texas to Duluth, Minnesota. Made about 10 runs up there.
I guess
man,
that's
just
essential.
back and forth.
That's
Well, you got to have the
it.
military.
Yeah, you definitely do.
Not going to shut the military down.
So anyway, so it's this. If I hear the word non-essential employee or whatever again, that's an oxymoron.
Mm-hmm.
Non-essential employee. How's he an employee if he's not essential?
Makes no sense to me, man.
Y'all leave a comment and tell us what you think about it, but I think that's stupid. So anyway,
Pretty silly.
We'll get off of that. Anything else?
I don't know.
Before I get packed up and head out.
Yeah, this kind of sucks.
I invited y'all to go.
I know.
Yeah.
I wasn't in the middle of my
Changing jobs.
Middle of my business here. I'd go with you.
Well, we've been promising Nana D to come on, right?
Yeah.
So we've invited her. We're trying to get her down here. She said she'll be down in April. So we'll get her on in April. And by the way, my daughter will be coming on, and we'll be doing another movie review with her. That's what she used to do. I would tell you how to get to her stuff, but she used to review movies online, and she's on YouTube, has been forever. But that's what she does, and she works with movie stars and has fun stuff like that. But we're gonna have her on, and we'll all three watch a good movie and break it down for you. But let's talk about. Okay, let's go back to A Complete Unknown. The story about him. Who stood out other than the guy that played him? What did you think about the character that played Johnny Cash? It wasn't much. You didn't see much of him anyway, did you?
No, he didn't. He didn't have Johnny Cash characteristics.
He really didn't.
You know,
he almost had Elvis Presley.
That hairdo and all that stuff kind of looked like Waylon back in the '60s, late '60s. You know, which him and Waylon were roommates at one time. So they, but anyway, that's beside the point. But that's what he looked like to me. If you see pictures of Waylon in the late '60s, early '70s, that my dad used to have hair like that, combed up and over,
straight,
straight back.
I may get one of them. There's a new technique where they put that thing on your head and glue it to your head. It's really good. I may try that out. So anyway, well, I guess anything else?
Who else played Joan Baez? I don't know. I don't know enough about Joan Baez to even.
Was she one of the girlfriends?
Yeah, she's the one that. You had the girlfriend, and then Joan Baez got to be a side deal, and then before you know it, he was kind of all into Joan Baez. She's the one that run him out of her house.
Okay. And she was with somebody else one time when he come over.
Yeah.
Her. Yeah.
She's like,
she convinced me.
I'm done with you. Kind of thing. And I think
he drug her all the way to that one concert, and he was singing with that other girl. Now, who was that?
The one he was singing with was Joan Baez. The one you talking about.
I'm talking about the other girl.
She's the original girlfriend.
That's who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about her.
I don't either. But I mean, they were close for a long time, and then when she figured out,
singing, she kind of like, okay, you like her.
You're into her, and she took off. That's a good movie. Good movie.
But anyway, I never was a Joan Baez fan either. I don't know nothing about her other than she's a folk singer.
Really? I was wondering who she was, but I'd never heard of her name. So anyway, well, we'll wrap this up. We need to
like, share, and subscribe.
Ring the bell.
Comment.
We're not getting very many comments from you punks. Y'all scared? Probably. Scared. Well, all right. Is that it, Bubba?
That's it from me, man.
All right, man. As usual, I'm Casey.
I'm Kevin.
See ya.
Adios.
We're out.